Are you ready to rock your higher vibe? Hi, I'm Paula for Rock Your Life TV, and I am, along with my featured guests, ready to get you into tip-top vibrational shape. That you have all of your resources, all of your energy available to you to make great choices in life, to live in your ultimate higher vibe and rock your life. So when you get done watching, remember to go over to pauladandrea.com/RYLTV, get a free gift, and also get on the list so that you can get all of the episodes with people who rock, like Soleira Green, my featured guest today, who are going to help you, just get out of all of those low vibrations, leave, your past in the past, and start living in the now. That's what it's all about. So today we're going to cover the real art of transformation. And when you hear the word transformation, I mean, what do you think of? Does it seem like something like really big that you have to do, like enormous changes in your life? Are they incremental? Does it sound daunting or easy? We're here to make it easy for you. Soleira is just one of the best in the energy field. She's a visionary genius. She's also authored 3 books. She has the Genius Company, the Visionary Network, all sorts of outlets available to you to help get you into that higher vibration. So without further ado, I'm welcoming Soleira Green from the UK. Hello, Soleira. Thank you for being here.
Oh, I love doing these calls with you, Paula. I'm really excited about the real art of transformation.
Awesome, because I think it's something that maybe people don't fully grasp. You know what I mean, Soleira? It's like kind of like that people think that it has to be something really big all the time, where they're making transformations, that it only happens when they're ready to make the big changes in their life, like, quit their job, find a new job, get married, have kids, quit doing something, lose weight, up their finances, any of those kind of things. And really it's a very progressive type of thing. Where I'd like to start, if we can start our discussion out, and just where a lot of people have a tendency to kind of swim in that lower vibration. We talked about in a previous episode about rocking that higher vibe. So let's just refresh a little bit there, and how somebody can, like, really, when they're starting to think about making a change in their life, make a good transformation for themselves, start wading out of that lower vibration and start rocking it up so that they can get ready to make the transformations.
Mm-hmm. Super. Well, a lot of people equate transformation with fulfilling your potential. And I kind of want to say that it's that plus more. It's not just fulfilling your potential. It's about who you're becoming as a full, rich, abundant, genius being. And really, one of the beliefs I hold is that everything that happens to us, the part of us that knows, the part of us that's pointing us to our path in life, it's got that path set. Not set like, oh, that's the only path, but it knows where we need to go next. And when I say it, I mean we, ourselves, me, we know on some level of ourselves. And it's about being conscious of that, and then instead of letting your life bang you all over the place and make sure you're heading down that path by all the tragic, drama, messy stuff that happens. Mm-hmm. What I believe is that the real art of transformation is about you understanding who you are, where you're going, how you're going to get there, and it's the growing of your being to be able to fulfill all that, to live who you are, really, truly, passionately, geniusly on the planet. And that's what puts grace into the art of transformation, as opposed to trauma and tragedy into the art of transformation.
I love it. I love it, and that does definitely, put a different spin on things, and make it a little clearer, and also, you know, there just is an aliveness in what you said, and it almost like it seems doable. And I will tell you too, from I'll give you a standpoint from someone who has experienced a lot of trauma, a lot of the quote bad stuff in life, is that when you're in it. So if you could speak to this, when somebody is actually in it, like really in that overload space of like life is really happening, and it does. I mean, there's no escaping it. It's like as and I want to make a point of this too, is that, you know, I recently wrote about this, is that even though you're really practiced in, you know, amping your energy up, there are things that are going to happen. People that you know are going to pass away. You may have a minor accident here and there. There's any of these things that come up in life. Life is still going to happen. So I think really the spin on it is, you know, how easily and quickly you're able to move out of it.
Yeah, and part of that is viewing everything that happens to you as an opportunity to transform yourself, transform your life. And when you view it that way, it orients you differently. So most people, when something very hard happens in life, you lose your job, you get divorced, you lose a loved one, it's a very tragic or traumatic circumstance, and they drop their vibration and kind of fall into a hole. And the whole concept of transformation is kind of out the window because there's just this sense of loss or grief or whatever. But it's so interesting that you actually, if you adopt a belief that everything that happens to you, both internally and externally, is you, the universe, however you want to hold that, on some level of yourself, it's moving you forward on your path to transformation, then you can use that as momentum to get your life to move more powerfully forward. I'll give you a perfect example. When my dad died, that was the first person in my life who died, and I was probably in my mid-30s. Whoa, I mean, it's shocking, you know, the whole thing. You don't expect it. But, oh my gosh, that was the most transformative thing that's ever happened to me in my whole life. It was the first moment in my whole life where I realized, oh my gosh, there's something else. I could feel my dad around me, and I had no idea that that was even possible. And it opened up doorways for me that have led me onto a completely new path in life. I mean, who I am 20-odd years on from that moment is extraordinarily different from who I was going to be had that not happened. I followed the pathway of transformation that my father led me towards. So I can see now, if I'd have known that even sooner, I would have grasped that path even faster.
Yeah, if we all know sooner, and I can totally relate to that because I had a similar, experience. I think my journey has been long of growing up, as I think a lot of people, you know, experience some dysfunction in their earlier years, which for many people leaves a mark for them, and they embody it so much and really embody it that it's living in their body, that they make, you know, that not only are their thoughts on automatic pilot, their body is on automatic pilot, and I could say that would be true for myself. Also, so there was inside, as I believe with many people, innately, a spirit in my being that longed for something different, that was amidst all of this and saying, yeah, not so much, this really isn't mine, and, you know, where is my light through that? So then, you know, fast track 2 years later, when also around the same age, lost my sister, I made a very strong statement, and that was to become a better person, and therefore began my quest to rock a higher vibe, and that is exactly what I've been on. I've done, I've used exercise, I've gone to nutrition, I've worked with other coaches, I use my own coaching, and then started getting on the energy track, which is how I've met you, and which has definitely helped me get into that space of doing it, and why, here I am now to share it with other people. So I definitely relate to that, and I think it's important for people to hear that as well. It's about the awareness that you bring yourself into, and I think that that's part of the transformation, is that if you recognize that you want something more, that you want to make gradual changes in your life, the more you unfold and the more that you allow your awareness to come into being, and that's really the thing that will pull you forward.
Well, it's almost like, our cultures, wherever we are in the world, have not prepared us to see the greater potential of things. So when you lose someone, when you lose your job, when the automatic response is, oh my God, this is terrible, bang. And I'm not saying it isn't terrible, but really most people who've lost their jobs that I know, and I've coached many of them, really within a very short period of time, it was the best thing that ever happened to them. And it put them on a different pathway in life that did allow them to be more themselves, to be more fulfilled, to be more abundant. And, it's kind of like a lot of people won't leave those jobs because they're afraid of being without money, or they're afraid of taking the next step, whatever it is. But so your being, that all-round great wise part of you that knows, your being is going to put you on that path, so you do something and you lose the job. So now you're forced onto the pathway of transformation.
So it's like, do you want to get dragged, or would you like to go willingly? Mm-hmm.
And gracefully.
So a lot of it is about then what you're saying that maybe is about surrender, to recognize that there is that higher power, and just let go.
Yeah,
Which is hard, and I would say, so here's a good opportunity for us to maybe to shed some light. What is, in your estimation, or your expertise in working with people who have lost their jobs and loved ones and things like that? What is the shift? What is the technique? What is the process? Words that you can share that would help them, understand that and get out of that and be able to get out of their way and let go a little bit quicker.
Okay, so first of all, know that your greater being, your knowing, has put you on this path for a purpose. I'm not saying like, oh, why did I create that? Like I created my reality and I create that problem. That's a bit lower than I'm talking about. I'm saying know that it's happening for a great purpose, and that it's introducing you to a pathway of transformation. And actually, the moment you have the signal that you're not happy in your job, use those signals to avoid getting fired or whatever, and start looking, because if you follow the signals, you'll avoid the tragedy, trauma, and you'll go straight onto the pathway of transformation as you're meant to, and that puts the grace and the power and the passion behind it, rather than you're pushed along the road by yourself. You see what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And I think that one of the things also in coaching with other people and speaking with other people too, and I've noticed for myself in the past, is that getting out of your own way, of being able to really to know that on an intellectual basis, but then to actually do it, to be able to let that part of you go and get out of that, your mind kind of keeps sucking you back into that that thought, and that's, I think, where the drag comes into that lower vibration, is that the mind kind of gets really active, and it's, yammering away at you. Of course you need money to have rent, to food, the really, really basic type of thing, and I think that's kind of the thing that will put somebody more in a survival kind of a mode as opposed to a thrival kind of mode.
Well, it's really about staying in the knowing of yourself, because all these thoughts will jumble all over the place. Oh my God, this is terrible. Oh, why did this happen to me? Oh, what did I do wrong? Those are the thoughts that will rush in to fill the space. So what we have to do is start to be responsible for what we're filling the space with. so as opposed to let the flood rush in that's just floating all around us, because those are I call them cultural whispers. of course, the moment you lose your job, one thinks, what's wrong with me? Why did this happen? You know, that's normal. But what if that doesn't have to be the thought that rushes in? What if instead you could choose, oh, what pathway am I choosing for myself to create here that will take me into the next levels of myself? Now you're in a better vibrational frequency. You're open to possibility. You're feeling better and less critical of yourself. You've got much more energy and passion to do the things you need to find the next thing, etc., etc. The more you decrease your vibration, the more you drop into the hole, the less able you are to create the wonderful things that you're meant to create, to have this new life, to have the next level of transformation for yourself. So it's really important that we find the right and true beliefs in the moment rather than be flooded by the cultural whispers that will take us in the big hole.
Sure, and which have been, old beliefs for many people. So those are the things to do. So open that up for us, like really.
Okay, well, so look, I would say to people, if we're going to do a kind of exercise around it, so for anybody who's listening, just take a look. Have you been walking through the fires of transformation? And if you take any circumstance in your life at all, and you look, is that the pathway of transformation for me? And when you begin to realize, oh my gosh, maybe it's the pathway of transformation, maybe it's not what I thought, maybe there's nothing wrong here, maybe instead it's opening doorways, it's opening up new horizons for me, it's opening up something new for me in my life, some way to grow, to learn, to expand, to become. And the moment you make that shift in your perspective of it, the energy changes. So if we just, everybody who's listening, just take a look at that. So then I want you to just see that you're on the pathway to transformation. And I think we're always on that pathway. I don't think we necessarily step off of it. You know, I think our lives are meant to be a beautiful expanding of growth and potential and becoming, so that we're always expanding who we are and always stepping into new abilities, new creations, new aspects of our genius, new ways of living our life. I don't think we're meant to plod through life doing the same thing over and over for 80, 90, 150 years.
like what was done in the old days, and you're very true. Is I think that those days are over, and I just think that it's really what people learn. So it's kind of like a new learning. And so I'll take this opportunity to share with viewers too. Is that we talk about, and I'm I was a fitness trainer for a long time, and well versed in wellness and holistic and helping people to get into physical shape. So now, as I have now still hold that skill set and still work with that, and now I've expanded it into an energy field. So I talk about getting in vibrational shape. So just as you would go to the gym on a regular basis, do something for yourself on a healthy level on a daily basis, then I would encourage you to do something to get in shape, vibrational shape on a daily basis. So, Soleira, if you would, share with us something that somebody could do on a daily basis that would help to strengthen this aspect of themselves, so that they aren't, when those old kind of things come up, which they will, of I can't, I shouldn't, any of the kind of like blame game kind of thing comes up, how can they quickly, make that shift right then and there? And
okay, great. So the first thing is set aside any thoughts you're having about it, about whatever's going on, and just take a deep breath. Think of something you love. Let it fill you up. When you think of something you love, the energy kind of bubbles up and puts a smile on your face. Right? So you're in a better vibe. Okay, now assume that the pathway of transformation is in front of you. And that actually there's a next level of yourself just waiting on that pathway to integrate into you, to step into you, to become fulfilled as part of your life. And I want you to look down that pathway, and there's the next level of you. And it's just like, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz and heading down the path, the Golden Brick Road, if you want to use an analogy.
Sure.
And there you are. There's the you you're waiting to become. So I want you to kind of just step forward on that pathway and become that next level of yourself. And feel it. There you are. You've stepped into it. Feel it in every cell of you. What does that feel like? What's new about this you? What new things would you love to do? What new colors would you love to wear? What exciting ideas does it bring you? And really feel yourself engaging with the next level of yourself and make that the you now. It's like breathing in parts of you.
It does, and it becomes part of your breathing. And when you're doing it on a regular basis, it gets a whole lot easier to, to then make the transition, into this. So it's more of like kind of being, stepping out of your old and coming more into your higher being, your quantum, whatever, however you want to term it, and just be a rock star of your own life, I guess, would be a good way for being on here. So, and Soleira, I want to take this opportunity now to, and what will we end up, but that was really powerful, and I think I would love you to just give a shout out for yourself of how people can find you on the internet, on the web, and be in contact, that if they wanted to be more in the practice of, getting into that vibrational shape, how could they contact you to do that?
www.soleiragreen.com or thegeniuscompany.co or thevisionarynetwork.com. Any of those. You'll find me all over it.
Or just Soleira Green.
Or just Soleira Green.
And you see the information below there on the screen, but it's SOLEIRAGREEN as the color, as Kermit.
Exactly.
The association. So,
exactly.
What I'd like to get into now is maybe like a little bit about. We've gotten kind of, I feel like, that ground level. So as you start to work with this this new energy force within you, potential, and everything that will take you onto that yellow brick road, and we speak about the real art of transformation, expanding, connecting, growing into it a little bit more. What's like the next step, Soleira?
Well, really, you wanna kind of play with it, have fun with it. Transformation doesn't have to be all serious and significant and tragic. It really can be graceful and abundant and fun. And I do think that the world's getting ready for that. I think that we embrace change. We seek change now. We're not afraid of it anymore. We actually go looking for it today. And we love how fast things can move. And, one of the delights for me myself is that I am constantly amazed at how much I've grown each year, sometimes even each month. So it's a bit of a game I can play with myself, like, oh, how much more can you grow? What else can you become? I think we're really creational geniuses, and we're not stuck with who we were born as and the abilities or the intelligence that we were told we have. I believe we can be anything we want to be, and that the real art of transformation is about engaging with the part of you that knows who you are, who you can become, and being willing to step onto that path and enjoying the journey, the adventure, into becoming something new and more all the time. And I think that's where the excitement is, where the rubber hits the road these days, is right there on the
Awesome.
pathway to transformation.
Cool. And so I'm hearing, I'd say top 3 things in through here: awareness level, get yourself into that field of knowing, and what's working in your life and what you want to grow into then really strengthening that knowing, and then get out there and play with it and rock that higher vibe.
Yes. Beautiful.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add, Soleira?
Oh, it's just, I guess the only thing I would add is that I really do believe that human beings, people are amazing. I believe everyone has genius in them, and everyone's meant to contribute to others in the world in phenomenal ways. And I really encourage them to start to try and look at themselves that way. Because so many people have doubts and concerns and fears and all that kind of stuff, and really set them to one side and enjoy discovering who you are and what you can become, because that's where the human race is going to grow from, right there. That place where each one of us knows ourselves and steps into the next and the next and the next levels of what we can contribute and who we can become. To me, that's the future of the human race. That's where we're going to create a world that's amazing and beyond imagining.
Beautiful. And I'll close this off with saying my adding to the hum of the world.
Yeah.
So you can find Soleira at thegeniuscompany.co and thevisionarynetwork.com. I'm Paula D'Andrea for Rock Your Life TV. Remember to get over to pauladandrea.com/RYLTV, get a free gift, and stay in touch with us to get in your vibrational shape and rock your higher vibe. Thanks so much for watching.